Severe thunderstorms have really been firing across Iowa over the last 30 minutes. We already have a couple of tornado warnings into Iowa and Illinois. We're looking here in Lacona, Iowa, of a massive funnel cloud dropping down. This is the warning that we were just mentioning a moment ago in the central Iowa area, where we have a tornado warning just outside of Des Moines. Des Moines, you are not within this warning. Counties that are included are Marion County into Jasper County and Mahaska County there in central Iowa. And we're going to stay with this as we see, this is our view from our field correspondent, Brandon Clement. A few trees in the way, but definitely a well-defined cone dropping down from the base of this thunderstorm. Easily could be a tornado at the surface. It's difficult to tell with some of the trees in the distance there or on the horizon blocking the ground view, but treat this as if it is on the ground. If you live in Knoxville, this is in parts of Marion County, Iowa, Pleasantville, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. This is why we have our field correspondents out on days like this, because we want to be able to show you the weather so you can see what is happening and know when you need to take action. What you need to do right now is go to your safe place, an interior closet, an interior bathroom within your home. If you live within in a mobile home park, go to the storm shelter nearby, or getting as low as possible to the ground as you can. Now, whenever tornadoes form like this, they can hit without much notice. Sometimes you don't hear that freight train sound, and you might be caught off guard. So take our word for it at this point. If you live there in Marion County, Iowa, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. This is going to make its way up to that corridor between Monroe and Pelham. I'm trying to get the highway number. That's Highway 163 between Monroe and Pella. You can see that that dashed line right here. That's the Highway 163. So you need to be seeking shelter if you're anywhere around that, because this storm is moving very quickly, around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Dave, did you see something?
Yeah, it's on the ground there. I could see a funnel all the way down.
Okay, Dave is saying that he was looking a little closer than I was, so already on the ground. So this is a confirmed tornado. Hopefully the National Weather Service in Des Moines they're probably working on a confirmed tornado warning. We'll see when that comes out, but we'll go ahead and tell you now, this is on the ground and you need to be seeking shelter. I want to look at the debris signature. This isn't showing up just yet, so that's some good news to a degree, because that means we're not picking up much debris with it, but still need to be seeking shelter. Look at the velocity couplet on this. This is southeast of the Pleasantville area, or more due south, I should say. This is probably an old scan, so I would assume it's somewhere around this region here at the moment. There we got the new scan. It's just in between where I drew, so moving a little bit slower. That is some good news. That means you have longer lead time when the storms aren't moving so quickly, but we could still see some very rapid rotation within this thunderstorm around the area. Dave, I want to send things over to you. I'll get some information from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kit. Brand new severe thunderstorm watches up towards northeastern Iowa, in towards southwestern Wisconsin. The warm front here has basically now been draped across northern Iowa in towards basically right along the Illinois-Wisconsin line. That's why it's a severe thunderstorm watch here towards the north. We're looking at cooler, more stable air, at least at the surface here, north of, let's see, a line from from Dubuque, essentially north, that Wisconsin-Illinois border, north is where we see more stable air. To the south, that's where we have more unstable air at the surface, and that is why we continue to see that tornado threat. That will continue here until 10 o'clock local time. We just saw a tornado that did touch the ground just a few minutes ago, so they are occurring. We do continue to track multiple tornado warnings now, both across Iowa and back in towards Illinois here. Now, that severe weather threat will continue over the next few days, continue to make its way east. The system is moving quite slowly, and so that's going to put some of these same areas in play for severe weather again on your Wednesday. But as we look more detailed in towards your Tuesday, still do carry a moderate risk across that southeastern Iowa area, back into northwest Illinois, and then down through south central Missouri, in towards northwestern Arkansas. That's where the greatest threat for tornadoes will be, and they could be significant. When we say significant, we're talking EF2 or stronger. These can do significant damage to even well-built structure. So you need to have a plan in place. We've already seen massive hailfall. Massive hail threat will continue here through the rest of the Tuesday as well. We're looking at more storm development back down the cold front here, perhaps even in towards the overnight. We could be looking at an overnight severe weather threat that makes it exceptionally dangerous, with the potential of strong, violent tornadoes moving through these areas in the middle of the night. Again, if you are in these areas that are under the gun for potential tornadic activity and you're, say, going to sleep in a few hours, you need to have a way to get warnings. I am looking at, just caught out of the corner of my eye, you could see now that tornado on the ground. It's a elephant trunk tornado there, and it is thankfully right now looks to be out in an open field. But look at that. That is an amazing sight there, Kit. This tornado warned storm obviously now on the ground. We're going to continue to track this here. You can see the tornado just crossing the road, just in front of one of our field correspondents here. This is again for the tornado warned storms just southeast of Des Moines, just to the west there of Knoxville. It looks to be west of the Knoxville area there, Kid. Is that correct? Can we get a update there on the radar?
Yes, this is just south of Pleasantville, to the west of the Knoxville area. We're seeing a very clear signature on radar of a tornado. Of course, it's got that classic hook structure to it. If you look at the back of your hand with your thumb down, curl it around, that's the classic supercell structure we always look for. So this is a very clear signature. That's a video from our field correspondent, Brandon Clement, out there in parts of Marion County, Iowa. I just sent a report to the National Weather Service in Des Moines to let them know that it is on the ground at the moment. So if you live in Pleasantville, Cordova, you need to be in your safe place at this moment. What you need to do once you get there is make sure you have the Weather Nation app on your phone. If you don't, download it when you are there. And that way you can keep with us here on this tornado warning, as we do still have that potential for that. It looks like we still have Brandon's stream there. It's just on the right side, just about to get out of the frame. And you can see that it is moving very quickly there towards the, there we go. We've got a very clear tornado with all of the debris getting lofted. A lot of the dirt, that's very black dirt from Iowa, very fertile soil out there. So not picking up any debris really, because this is just in between growing seasons. So fortunately, it's out in very rural country, so we're not hitting any buildings. That is some good news, but just because it's sparsely populated doesn't mean that the damage or the threat is not there. The danger is not there. It's still a very present threat. Looking at the velocity signature, it's not as clear, so this is something that we always have to remember. It might not look like a perfect signature on radar, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a threat. We still have that threat here around this area of Marion County. So I want to gather some information from the National Weather Service. It's moving to the northeast at around 55 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a track on this area here of where it should be heading right now. We'll go ahead and put that tool on. Around 55 miles an hour to the northeast. We'll give it just a little extra time there. Cordova is going to be in your area, your vicinity, within 8 minutes time. Now 7 minutes time as the clock updates. Monroe, you have about 11 minutes of lead time. This very well could stay on the ground all the way to Murphy, which would be about 25 minutes for your region there. So definitely something we need to keep our minds on at the moment. But given that this is in a very sparsely populated area, I also want to address another confirmed tornado that we have in Illinois. This just came through the Macomb region, is now moving towards Ipava there in Fulton County, Illinois. You also need to be seeking shelter. Of course, we've had multiple storms ongoing through the afternoon, and we're going to keep up with this over the next several hours, it looks like, as we're just getting started here on this moderate risk. Of course, we have that 15% risk for tornadoes across this region. I'll pull that up for you. We have that very great risk for severe thunderstorms to develop into tornadic storms over the next several hours today. So we're going to stay here on Weather Nation, keep you covered on that. Let's get back to that Springfield area tornado, or the Lewistown area, I should say, in Fulton County. Again, if you're in this region, you need to be seeking shelter, lowest level of your home, most interior room. As you're going to your safe place, maybe grab a pillow out of the bedroom and bring that to cover your head, because any debris that comes through, that can also cause damage. So you want to have something to protect your head, or if you have a helmet, a baseball helmet, a football helmet, anything your kids might have, make sure that they have that with them as well. I'm going to take you back to that tornado warnings. We see several severe thunderstorm warnings around the Des Moines area also coming through. Just to the northeast of Des Moines, we've got around Melbourne, some very large hail moving there through Marshall County. Looking a little bit closer on those details, we could see 1.5 inch diameter hail with that thunderstorm, and the one just to the north of it into parts of Story County and northern Marshall County. Not as large hail on the northern storm. Out towards the southwest, this is down or upstream from Des Moines. We could see this storm moving into Des Moines very shortly, moving into Madison County at the moment. This is 1.5 inch diameter hail moving in as well. So very large hail, very strong winds, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with all of these thunderstorms at the moment. Getting back to that tornado warning, looking at the velocity signature just outside of the Pleasantville area, it looks like is where we have the mid-level rotation of this thunderstorm. And of course, that's where we see the bottom of the hook echo. Remember, like I said, look at the back of your left hand, and that's that hook echo shape. That's the sort of left-hand rule for a supercell of what it looks like. That can bring the chance for a tornado to develop. So, of course, we are still staying with our field correspondent, Brandon Clement, there below me as he's following this storm at the moment. You can see it's very wide open country, which is some good news. But if you do live out there, it's still a threat for you. So you need to be seeking shelter rather than heading outside to try and see the storm for yourself. I want to bring in meteorologist Dave Holder now and get some information on these storms from the National Weather Service. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, Kid, very dangerous situation now unfolding. Looks like that tornado may have occluded or wrapped up, but we've seen these storms. They're cyclic. They could produce multiple tornadoes, and this storm could potentially be just beginning to be ramping up here. So a long night here in store. Here's what we're looking at, the Storm Prediction Center's latest outlook. It's a moderate risk from southeastern Iowa, right where Brandon was chasing that storm just a few minutes ago. And then another moderate risk, south central Missouri back in towards northwestern Arkansas. This could be a later overnight deal here, which does make it exceptionally dangerous. So let's talk about a little more about the southern risk here. There's that moderate risk. It does encompass I-40 from Fort Smith to Little Rock. Of course, the enhanced risk goes all the way back down the southwest to the southwest in the northeast Texas. And Dallas is included in this risk as well. Just because the Dallas metro is in just a slight risk doesn't mean we can't see severe weather. Some data does suggest that thunderstorm development will be possible across the Dallas metro later on tonight as well. Looking at the tornado potential, again, it's going to be the highest here in this moderate risk, which does encompass southwestern Arkansas, basically from Texarkana right up through the Hot Springs area, or just north of Hot Springs, up through the Ozarks here and back in towards Branson area of Missouri. Strong tornadoes will be possible, EF2 or stronger. We've already seen very large hail reports coming in through your Tuesday. Large hail will be another factor here in these areas as we go forward, and data really does continue to suggest that these storms that do form later on tonight will be prolific hail producers. So here we are in eastern Oklahoma. Data suggested storms forming in eastern Oklahoma out towards north central Arkansas. These will all have an attendant tornado threat going deep into the night. And look at this, 2 in the morning, we're looking at thunderstorm development potentially around the Paris, Texas area. So again, if you're anywhere in these risks, you need to get away to get warnings here in towards the overnight. And as we go in towards your Wednesday, we're going to be looking at that severe risk, shifting maybe just a little bit to the east, but also back towards the southwest. The marginal risk is now going to encompass Houston down towards the Victoria area, almost getting down towards Corpus Christi and Memphis, Nashville, back up into towards portions of the Ohio River Valley. Valley, we'll have that enhanced risk, and that towards the enhanced risk is where that greatest tornado potential will be. So we're keeping a close eye on all the hazards here, all the multi-facets, or this is a multifaceted storm system. We're keeping an eye on all aspects of it here. But let's bring Kip back in to talk about those ongoing tornado warnings and the very latest from the Weather Service.
And Dave, I got some information from the Weather Service. Some of their spotters out around the Des Moines area have reported that that tornado that was just outside of the Des Moines region has roped out. It's no longer on the ground, so that's some good news, but it is still a supercell that could produce another tornado very shortly. So I want you to stay vigilant at the moment. The tornado could be imminent at any given time. But out here around the Macomb area, just to your east now, between Ipava and Lewistown, we have another confirmed tornado warning there until 7:30 p.m. This is in Fulton County, Illinois. You also need to be seeking shelter at this time, as we could see this tornado potentially on the ground. It was confirmed at just 7 past the hour, so only a few minutes ago. This was still reported as on the ground. I know it might look a little bit sloppy, but it's still a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. You can see that very clear hook echo structure to the storm. Plus, we've also got the hail potential with that thunderstorm, possibly up to baseball size. You can see how bright pink and even some of the gray colors showing up in here. This is the hail core of the thunderstorm, as we're seeing the updraft rotating on this side, pulling up all of the moisture into the upper structure of the thunderstorm, keeping it very powerful as well. So very large hail is possible with this thunderstorm. So if you are in Lewistown or Cuba, you need to be seeking shelter not only from the tornado, but also from the baseball-sized hail that can break windows and that can cause a lot of damage to your roof. So you want to be seeking shelter at the lowest level. At this time, we're going to go out to break, but once again, I just want to look back at the Des Moines area as we do have that still tornado warning. A tornado could reform just outside of the Pella area, moving towards Sully there in parts of Jasper County.